Hi, welcome to JJ's Productions. We've got another Stoke City Vlogcast. With me as always is Jan. How are you doing?
I'm alright, thanks, son. Hi everybody, hope you're all okay.
Well, I'll be honest, I'm happy we got the win yesterday, but we've got to sort of look past that for a moment and say, what did you think of the game?
Dire.
Yeah,
I lost the will to live listening to it.
First off, I can't actually tell how many chances we had. I mean, I've had a look at the highlights since, and I think they did actually paint a better picture than the radio did. I will give, I think they did need to do a bit of extra work on the radio to make some colour after that first half.
Well, when you're listening to Mike Pedgick, you lose the will to live anyway.
I've got him, Pedge did me head in yesterday, but...
I think from the 7th minute, he was calling for Crouch to come on.
Yeah.
And what I called him under my breath was nobody's business.
I think it'd be safe to say, though, it was a slow start, whether you're listening to the radio or watching it live, it just seemed like a dire first half, especially.
Well, let's go to the first second minute, shall we? The second minute.
Oh, we barely kicked off, had we?
Yeah, and then Ryan nearly scored an own goal, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good job Jack was there then.
Yeah.
But, we'll come back to Jack later because it seems like he had an interesting game.
I watched it and it was a cat-like save. It was tremendous how he saved it.
Yeah.
What Ryan was thinking of, I don't know.
It goes back to your philosophy on Stoke, or your belief that they don't warm up until half hour in or whatever.
Yeah.
And it sort of sums it up that Ryan's still got his flip-flops on in the dressing room, and he hasn't, thought, oh, clearance is that way, not that way.
Well, I think he was thinking of his Christmas lunch, actually. And
it's the only way you can look at it, because even, we're exaggerating, obviously, they're obviously professional footballers, but equally, it's the only way you can rationalise why they make mistakes like that so early on.
I mean, I know I touch on it quite a lot, but Stoke just are absolute chronic in the first 18 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they've got to get over this.
The worst bit for me is we seem to be doing this more so against the smaller teams at home, in the sense that it's not even the first 20 minutes, I'm classing it as first halves.
Yeah.
It's like yesterday going in, I thought, well, who was Rowett not going to throw a hairdryer at or whatever, do the Fergie treatment, because, that was... just listening to it, I was bored out of my tree. I don't know how them at the ground felt, but it was terrible.
Well, I just hope it was a better atmosphere. I mean, I did hear the crowd sing Delilah.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's the loudest I've heard them sing.
I think it was before the goal.
Yeah, it was way before the goal.
So, fair credit to the fans for actually trying to G the team up a little, but I don't think they responded this time,
No. And I do feel sorry for you all who went, because, if it was as bad as what the radio was, then I feel sorry for you.
Anyway, look, just moving on into the game, we're going to just advance a bit to Sido's goal, and it was actually quite a good chance, because before then, the only things I've only really remembered anyway, is Ecker had a shot from range, and I think, was it McLean had a shot from range as well? So there hadn't been any clear-cut chances. So it was quite a cute header from Berahino, which is something I wouldn't associate him with.
Yeah, I mean, I was just so happy when it went in.
Yeah, if anything, it was undeserved.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say we deserved to lose, but, I wouldn't say we were deserving to win either.
I mean, when you think the stats that I gave you for Millwall, they were terrible, and we should have been way ahead of them.
Well, the way I see it is, you were right with the stats, but the idea is they were scoring goals for fun, but they were conceding them as well, so at the very least we should have gone for them.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like we kept the brakes on.
Yeah. And to be honest, it was a better Millwall side than I've seen for quite a few years. And they weren't as bad as what they were, previous years, when they just nut up you and and kick your legs from under you and all sorts.
I'd like to think football's gone on a little bit since that time anyway.
I mean, it's like us, they call us the rugby team.
Yeah.
But
they probably invented it.
Yeah, and we were a good match for them, but, quite a clean match, really.
Well,
Nobody got sent off.
I was going to say it was only a few bookings, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I think McLean got one for arguing or something like that. But
yeah.
It was a quieter game, that's for certain.
Sorry we're sounding down, folks, but
there isn't exactly a lot to talk about, is there? You know, I mean, there's the goal, and to be honest, the only other thing we've really got to bring up is the fact that Jack, after saving Ryan in the first half, it's as if they returned the favour near the end of the match, where Ryan helped out Jack with a poor punch.
And he saved us the 3 points, thank goodness.
So we've had a requested feature for the Vlogcast, which is player ratings and man the match. So we're going to try and go through them and just rationalise them as best as we can.
This is for our Pugster, this is.
Yes.
He's requested this.
So, put it like this, we're going to try and explain each one as we go along, but let's see if it's actually worth it. So, Jack Butland, we've given him a 6 out of 10 for the simple reason, yes, he made a good save in the first half, or first minutes, but he made a bit of a cock up at the end, and his distribution again wasn't that great, so 6 out of 10 seems like fair middle ground.
Right. Next.
Next up we've got Cuco Martina, and again we give him a 6 out of 10. He didn't do anything bad, but he didn't do anything that good either, so yeah. Same with Ryan, good in the first half, helping out, bad in the first half, forcing Jack into a save, but he did make up for it at the end by helping Jack out. Then, Ashley Williams, you're giving him a 7. Do you want to rationalise that?
Yeah, this is the first half. He did seem to be doing quite a lot. Again, I couldn't see whether he was doing a lot about nothing or whether he was actually doing something. But according to what I was listening to on the radio, he was quite okay in the first half. And he was my man of the match, actually, up until the second half.
I was just going to say, spoiler alert. Okay, so next up we've got Eka, and we've given him 6 just for the simple reason that he got forward okay. I don't think he created anything in the note bar that shot I've mentioned, but you know, he did alright before his injury, so he probably won't be playing in the Birmingham game. We gave Ryan Woods a 5 out of 10 for the simple reason he didn't seem to do a lot. You know, maybe...
I can't remember hearing his voice, his name.
Again, maybe we're being harsh. It could be that he's doing more that we can't hear. So, you know, if you want to dispute that, leave a comment and explain why you think he deserves a higher ranking. Joe Allen we gave 6. Again, nothing good, nothing bad, so middle of the park. There's going to be a few of these, it feels. Because Sam Klukas is up next with a 6 out of 10. I think he tried again, but not a lot of note. Getting interesting now with Tom Ince. He gets 7 out of 10 for the fact that he got the assist for the goal, and he did seem a bit of a threat throughout the match.
Yeah.
James McLean, he was my personal man of the match. I thought he run himself into the ground, but he kept hearing his name, so for me that's a good indicator when you're listening. Saida Berahino a 7, just for the fact that he got the goal. You know, I think he had a tough game up front on his own. And we've given Afobe, Martin's Indian Crouch 5s, just for the fact that they didn't do anything when they came on of note, so just make sure they get a 5 easy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it. We'll try and keep doing this feature, although it'll be much easier when we have got live matches on the TV or we can actually go, so we'll see how we get on with this.
I'm getting there, folks. I'll be back.
Alright, Arnie. Okay, so we're on to your stats now. What are the stats ahead of the Birmingham fixture this time?
Right, well, they've won 8, they've drawn 10, and they've only lost 5.
Wow.
And they're currently in 8th, and we're in 9th. The top scorer is actually Adams with 11, followed by, I can't say his name.
Djukovic.
Thank you. And he's got 10. So we've definitely got to mark these two, because they just get away and off they go. Both of them have scored hat-tricks this season so far.
I mean, I'm interested how Birmingham go and line up, because I think when I've remembered them, they do play 2 up front. I might be mistaken, but if that's the case, then it will be a handful for the 2 of them to mark, because, you know, they do seem like a very good, I wouldn't say little and large pair, but I'd say Jutkovic is the one who can hold it up in the head better than Adams, who's maybe the one who runs past the back line. So, Yeah, Adams obviously scored against us in the first fixture, which we're coming on to shortly, but I'm going to say Jutkiewicz has been the more leading light in the season, I'd argue.
Yeah. Well, as I say, the pair of them have scored hat-tricks, which is quite good. This far into the season, I think that is quite good. You'd expect it at nearer the end of the season, not the first half of the season.
Yeah.
So I think that's quite good, really.
Have you got anything regarding yellow cards?
Yeah, they've got 34 yellow cards and no red. 7 of those went to Gary Gardner. So I'm assuming he will take you down whenever you've got the ball if you need a goal.
I'm laughing again, sorry, I can just see my mum again tapping on the table, she's getting excited.
I get that. Ooh, yeah. That's how I get.
I'm going to stop moving you backwards while recording.
Sorry, my stats, folks.
I'm sorry, I'll admit I completely lost what she was saying then at the end as well. That Gary Gardner's on 7 bookings.
Yeah.
So one thing
it isn't much out of 34, but
no, it's a
he's
fair
got
percentage
the most out of all of them.
I'm going to say it's nearly 1 every 5, so
yeah.
it's not too bad.
I just think that
as far as
the weaker ones have got to watch him.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I remember Gary Gardner just because. Well, I used to like his brother Craig. I think he's at Birmingham still as well.
Yeah.
And Craig used to be a very good goal scorer, especially for Birmingham. And you look at it and you think, ooh, is he like his brother? And it's only, I think he had a loan spell at Barnsley and he did well. And I thought, okay, that's he maybe is going to be like the next Gardner.
Yeah.
And he hasn't really shone since he joined Birmingham, but maybe he's coming to the fore a little as far as being a more destructive midfielder.
Yeah.
I'm just reading between the lines here. Maybe Birmingham fans can answer, just tell me what you're thinking. But yeah, it's quite interesting.
Well, them are my stats for this week, so...
Yeah, let's just move on, because we're going to go to the actual game itself, and I'll be honest, I'm really hoping we don't have a repeat of the last game as far as... When I've just revisited it, because obviously this is the first repeat, it wasn't a great day for Stoke in the sense that we seemed to boss the possession that day. We had quite a number of shots on goal, if not on target, but Birmingham scored with better accuracy, shall we say. They had fewer shots but more on target, and it was just one just at the end, and you think, no wonder it was a bad day in the sense that we just couldn't rally at the end to get that goal to equalise. And you think, why? We needed a clinical edge earlier on, and it's something that I think has been a recurring theme throughout the season, that if we'd have had a goal scorer who, it doesn't matter what type of game you're in, whether it's you're 2-0 down, you're 2-0 up, this guy will score. If we'd have got that type of goal scorer with us, I think we'd have had a goal or 2 that day. But I think, I can't remember the team exactly, but I'm going to assume it was either one of Afobe or Berahino. Neither of them are as prolific as we'd like in the Championship at the moment, and you can just read between the lines there and think we should have done a little bit more that day to get a goal.
Well, what were we just talking about? Well done to Gary Rout for keeping the same team 2 games on the trot. Yay, well done.
Yeah, only 1 change on the bench as well with Etterberg back, which it was also interesting as he didn't come on when we were trying to defend the lead. So I'd actually sorry, I'm now straying away from Birmingham for a second, but I would like Stoke fans' thoughts on that, because Rowett has been criticised for being too defensive when we take the lead, but he brought 2 strikers on yesterday. So is it a case of was that a positive move, try and make sure you got 2 up front, or was he being reckless and should have brought Etterberg on instead of Crouch? I'm curious what people think. So,
well, I think...
Go on.
I think it was crazy. You're trying to keep a lead, so why bring 2 forwards on? Strikers, or whatever you call them these days.
Yeah, forward strikers.
Why not bring somebody who can defend and stop them getting the goal?
Alright, what would you associate Millwall with? In terms of, if they were chasing a goal, what would you associate them with? Personally, I'd associate them with set pieces.
Well, yeah.
And if that's the case, you're bringing on the biggest fella in your team to defend them.
Oh, he is okay in defence, really, isn't he, Crouch?
So, it's not all about going up front for the attack.
Yeah.
It's also you've got a big man to go to the back.
I just don't understand it. So, come on, folks, please help me out and say I'm wrong.
I mean, if anything, you don't. If you think Mum's right, let us know. But like I say, it's an interesting debate because I think Rowett's in a position with this where he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. So I am curious where people lie on this topic.
I mean, it's not as if it's the first time he's done it. He does it every match.
Well, the thing is, in the past he's gone too defensive. He's brought defenders on to try and defend it, and that hasn't worked. So maybe that's what his thought process was. If I go attack him, I'll keep the lead.
Well, I'm just going to wonder what his team will be like. I can't see him doing 3 on the trot.
Oh, I don't think he can.
Poor Eka, anyway.
I was going to say you can't do it with Eka.
Eka, he played that nice. I think Tanya wanted it. Not Tanya.
I was going to say you've got the realised Wales of Cheshire in your mind.
Can't remember his wife's name, but I think she wants him home for Christmas.
Oh, sorry, can I just give a shout out to that Charlton player who got sent off in the first minute the other day just so that he'd have Christmas off? That was absolutely unbelievable, and I wouldn't mind, but there was a player on the opposition team who did it about half hour later, and you thought, you two have had a bet on between yourselves who can do it faster.
I tell you what, if my husband had played for Stoke, I'd say, you better get cropped, I'm telling you, I want you here for Christmas Day.
Oh, sorry, we've got to get back to Birmingham.
Yeah, sorry, we went way off then.
But I must admit, when we played them the first time, I actually thought Birmingham were on just a steady run, shall we call it, in the sense that I thought, yeah, they're doing okay, but they'll probably have a bad run form sometime in these months we've just passed through. And, they'll drop down the table a bit. A bit like how Bolton had a good start to the season and have dropped down a bit. But, so I am quite surprised how they have maintained the form, and I think, if anything, it shows Gary Monk's not as bad a manager as maybe some Stoke supporters have made out to believe. What do you think?
You shouldn't ask me about Gary Monk.
Okay.
And I'm not going to answer the question.
Well, this is the thing, right? You've just read out stats, right? And I'm just going to double check them so that I'm not reading the wrong line. 1-8, draw 10, loss 5. Now, off the top of my head, I don't know, but I'm guessing that's very close to what our stats are.
Yes, they are.
Now, granted, we want better stats. Okay, if we had our way as Stoke supporters, to be honest, we'd have won all the games up to now. But realistically, I think we'd be hoping for double-digit wins, maybe close to double-digit draws, and very few losses. But we aren't doing bad.
No.
But Monk, on the other hand, with Birmingham, they weren't expected to be in this position.
No, they
So
weren't.
my view is he's exceeded expectations. Where there's an argument, Rowett has dipped below expectations.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you'll be pleased to know I've got nothing against Birmingham. In fact, it's one team I've followed for the last 24 years.
Yeah, I do remember.
I had a friend who was a Birmingham supporter. We were both in the same league at the time. And it was, one of them niggly things that if Birmingham won, you'd
have a little jab.
Yeah, and vice versa. So I've not got nothing against Birmingham whatsoever, as long as we beat them.
I'll admit, I haven't got anything against Birmingham. I've got to admit, though, I'm not looking forward to this game because I've got no good memories of St Andrews. I mean,
I'm quite positive this week.
I mean, I've always found it, whether we're in the Premier League, the Championship, a tough place to go. And, it sounds like something I say in most away games, but St Andrews has always been a fortress in my eyes. Birmingham are very capable of, okay, I've got to stop my sentence there. I was going to say they're very capable of having a good home form, but the fact is, it depends on the manager, obviously. I think when Rowett was there, they had a decent home form, and then you have silly managers like Steve Cotterill who blow the whole thing. So you think, if they have a decent manager, that crowd will get behind the manager and it'll create a good fortress. Whereas if you do have a dopey one like Cotterill or Zola, the home form will dip a bit.
Well, it's like you said before we did this today, that Chris... what's his name? Chris, the manager.
Oh, Chris Hughton, yeah, sorry.
Chris Hughton. He shouldn't have left Birmingham.
I thought he left early. I mean, he went to Norwich, I think, and he didn't do terrible at Norwich, but I think if you asked him now, would you have liked to have seen the job through at Birmingham, he would say, yeah, go on, because I think I was doing all right there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a shame, really.
Yeah. But as I say, I like Birmingham as long as they don't beat Stoke.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I stand. I mean, put it like this, it's going to be interesting come the end of the season because already you're looking at the table and you're thinking we're sort of fighting for a similar position already, you know, probably the bottom end of the playoffs. So it's going to get more and more tense as the season goes on because we're getting this fixture out of the way early, but down the line we'll be thinking we haven't got to play them, so we've got to hope someone else will beat them, and you know, it could get really tense.
Yeah, I mean, I can't actually believe that we've gone up to 9s.
Yeah.
I feel so proud of them because a few weeks back we were struggling and we were in 17th.
Yeah.
And I thought, this isn't looking good, this isn't.
Well, for me, we're going to move on to predictions now. The thing for me is we've got to maintain the unbeaten run.
Yeah.
Because the one thing you've taught me, well, I say the one thing, I feel like I'm always talking about the one thing you've taught me as a Stoke supporter, is Boxing Day is not a good day to be a Stoke supporter.
No,
you
never has been.
Which I've got to admit, I don't seem to remember a lot of wins on Boxing Day. You know, if anything, I actually remember probably one of the worst 0-0 draws in existence against Aston Villa on Boxing Day. You know, if you Google that, folks, it was 0-0 at the then Britannia Stadium, and I don't know how I didn't fall asleep in my seat.
Yeah.
You know, and how cold it was as well. I was going to say, sorry, change the topic, but I think I'd rather this Birmingham team against that Birmingham-based team. So,
I mean, the only thing you can say about Boxing Day is everybody's happy.
Yeah, that is one thing. I think that was one thing that went that day as well, even though...
It was the crowd that lifted you up for a terrible match.
Yeah, and I think, if anything, Stokies who are going, I hope you have safe travels and everything, but I also hope you keep that spirit going because, you know, it is Christmas time, we all want to have a good time, and if we do have a bad result, don't get down on the way home. You know, if anything... You know,
it's still Christmas!
Well, it's not just that, but they're not being funny. In the end, it's just a game of football. You know, we've got another one in a couple of days' time, and we've got a chance to rectify it. So, if we do have a bad result, don't get down the dumps, folks. But
I promise I won't, honest. Honest, I promise.
Okay, so we've got about a minute. Predictions.
1-0 to Stoke.
I was going to say... Well, I've had a bit of jip for going for draws lately, so I think I'm going to have to go for a 2-1 Stoke, even though I'm saying if I get a draw I will not complain.
Well done for that comment, Bugster.
Yeah, I feel like I've been pummeled into submission on that, but we'll give it a go anyway, see if I regret going for a win. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave it a like, and if you're enjoying the Stoke City Vlogcast, subscribe to the channel. We'll be back later in the week with the Bolton preview, but other than that, thanks for watching.
See you folks, enjoy the game, and have a lovely, lovely Christmas.
Merry Christmas everyone, happy holidays,
Christmas.
and I'll see you after the break. Bye.